Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. And I want to ask you a question. What is the last thing that God instructed you to do? Oftentimes, we set all of these goals and look forward to achieving things in life, but we often neglect the clear instructions that God gives us to do a specific thing. And when we are outside of his presence or we're acting in disobedience, sometimes we are failing to hear clear instructions concerning our life. But then we want God to come on the back end and bless those things that we desire. Although the word does say that God will give us the desires of our hearts. However, those desires have to be in line with our will for our life. And I think we miss that a lot when we're going through life and we're experiencing challenges because we're living outside of the will of God. And many of us have businesses on the inside of us. Many of us have ministries on the inside of us, have books on the inside of us. But we're so busy with everything else in life that we're neglecting that very thing that can bring the resources that we need to move forward and all that God has purposed us to do. And a lot of times we sit down and we think about these things and we say, oh, we'll do it tomorrow, or we do it next week and 6 months from now. Next thing you know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years have gone by. And we still have not planted our feet in the thing that God has entrusted us to do. And we know that everything that is attached to our life is purposeful, it's ordained, and it's for us to get a message out that his people need to hear. And sometimes we get caught up in the selfishness of us wanting to accomplish things that we desire, that we forget the very thing that God has ordained us to do, not realizing that lives are being impacted as a result of you not moving forward with that thing. And sometimes you're shrinked to silence. Sometimes you're delaying things that you need to move forward with out of fear. And we know the enemy's number one thing to attack us with is fear, because it's paralyzing. And when we're paralyzing, we're sitting still. And when we're still, our purpose can't move forward. And when we look at those specific things that are happening in our lives, things that may not be moving forward, those decisions that we made that have made our life worse than it's ever been, sometimes it's time to evaluate what is that thing that God has instructed us to do that we said no to, or we said, I'll work on that later. And this is just a call to action for you to start evaluating those different circumstances and situations in your life where God is calling you to something specific and you told him no, or you told him not now, because that very thing is going to move you to that next level. And when we think about when we are creating barriers or boundaries in our life, we know that we set boundaries. There are certain things that we won't tolerate in our life anymore as we get to different life stages. But there are certain things that God has planted on the inside of us that we need to allow to grow and cultivate. So we have to pause and set boundaries around things that's going to pull us away from that very purpose that he has for us. And this is so important in this day and age where there are so many things that are distracting us from purpose. There are so many things that are trying to silence the voice of God, trying to get us off track. So we have to be very sensitive and careful to the voice of God. And if this is speaking to you, this is an opportunity for you to reset and really understand what may be hindering you from moving forward in what God has called you to do. Are there certain people who you need to move away from? Is that job that you've been in time to reach an expiration date? whatever it is that may be delaying that thing that God has told you to do, it's time for you to move forward in that very thing. And don't allow anybody in your life to deter you from that, because only you know what that specific thing is. Only you know what God has told you to do. And sometimes we invite other people into our lives and we try to get the opinions of others, but none of that matters when God has placed a specific thing on your heart. So I encourage you to go back and revisit that. Maybe it's something you've written in your journal. Maybe it's a dream that you had, or maybe it was a certain person that spoke into your life that confirmed what God had already laid on your heart. It's time for you to find out what that thing is. Ask the Lord to order your steps and move forward in all that He has purposed you to do.